Hello friends, today we will talk about cell membrane. So what is cell membrane? Cell membrane is outer covering of the cell. Now electron microscopy has revealed, now we know that cell membrane is a tri-layer structure having a thickness of 7 to 9 nanometer. Now primarily this cell membrane is made up of lipids and proteins and carbohydrates. So how much lipid, what is the percentage of lipid? So lipid is approximately 40%, proteins 55% and remaining 5% is made up of carbohydrates. Now, with development in research technology and many hypotheses were kept forward to explain the structure of cell membrane, but latest what the most widely accepted hypothesis for the structure of cell membrane is fluid mosaic model. Fluid mosaic model given by Singer and Nicholson. Fluid mosaic model given by Singer and Nicholson. Two scientists, Singer and Nicholson, in the year 1952, they kept forward a hypothesis regarding the structure of cell membrane, which is fluid mosaic model. Now here fluid part, according to Singer and Nicholson, the fluid part is the lipid bilayer, and in which the protein parts, they float like mosaic particles. So they have given the name fluid mosaic model. Now when I talk about composition of what cell membrane is made up of, as I have earlier said that it is made up of lipid, protein and carbohydrate. But primarily when I talk about lipid, I am talking about phospholipid. So primarily the cell membrane is made up of phospholipid. Now this phospholipid, they are oriented in a very unique fashion. The structure of cell membrane and the orientation of this phospholipid are in the form of bilayer, it is oriented in a very unique fashion. Now what is unique about this? So the lipid are arranged in a bilayer fashion. One facing towards the ICF and the another portion facing towards the ICF. So this lipid bilayer has a head part and a tail part. Head part and a tail part. So these are the head parts and these are the tail parts. So they are arranged as bilayer structure. Okay. So first I am talking about only phospholipid and arrangement of phospholipid. Later on I will talk about arrangement of protein and arrangement of carbohydrate. Now, so this is the bilayer lipid structure. So I will explain. I'll just take one section of it and I will try to tell that what is the speciality of this lipid bilayer. So this lipid molecule here, so this bilayer has a head part which is polar part or charged part. Polar or charged part. And the tail part is non-polar fatty acid tail. It is non-polar fatty acid tails. So the lipid bilayer, so the head part, we can see it has two parts. One is the head part, one is the tail part. The head part is polar or charged and the tail part is fatty acid, non-polar. One more important thing about this is that the head part is, it loves water. So we say the polar part or the head part of lipid bilayer or the phospholipid which is present in the cell membrane, the head part is hydrophilic. Hydrophilic. And the non-polar fatty acid tails are hydrophobic. Hydrophobic. They are scared of water, we can say like that. Hydrophobic. Now, so the orientation is also in the same way. So towards ECF, towards ICF. So the head part will dissolve in the water towards the inner side and towards the outer side. Whereas the tail part is away from the water. So what we can understand from this diagram, actually, the most important thing that we must keep it in our mind that any molecule which is lipid soluble, any molecule which is lipid soluble, can easily pass through this membrane, and molecule of smaller size can also pass through the membrane. What another thing we can understand from this diagram, that charged molecule, whether negative charge or positive charge, will be repelled. They will not be able to. Now suppose this is a molecule over here. So molecule over here which is negative charge or positive charge, they won't be able to pass. They will repel and they won't be able to easily pass through the membrane. It's not like that these molecules are not going to come inside or outside. For this type of charged molecules, we need separate type of carrier proteins that we'll discuss later. So for time being, so fluid mosaic model given by Singer and Nicholson, and what they say that primarily the cell membrane is made up of lipid bilayer and it is made up of, basically what we talk about, that it is made up of phospholipid which has a head part and a tail part. Now, one more important thing that we must understand is that the phospholipids which are present here are not similar. They are not similar. They provide little bit asymmetry. The phospholipids which are present, they provide little bit of asymmetry. So let me draw again. So what do I mean by that they provide little bit of asymmetry? Now the phospholipids which are facing towards ICF, the phospholipid facing towards ECF, they are a little bit different compared to the phospholipid which are oriented towards the ICF. Okay? So this provides a little bit of asymmetry. So what do we understand? That our cell membrane is not a symmetrical structure, it is asymmetrical structure. So phospholipids which are oriented towards the ECF, they are phosphatidyl, choline and sphingomyelin. Phosphatidyl, choline and sphingomyelin. which are oriented toward the ICF. They are phosphatidyl, serine, and phosphatidyl, ethanolamine. So the phospholipids provides asymmetry to the cell membrane. Apart from different type of phospholipid which are oriented towards the ECF and ICF, this protein also provide asymmetry to the cell membrane, as well as carbohydrate also provide asymmetry to the cell membrane. Next, one more important thing that you must understand, that this phospholipid bilayer, they are fluid in nature. They are mobile. In nature. So as we say that they are mobile in nature, that gives us the concept that our cell membrane is fluidity in nature. It provides fluidity. So what do I mean that the cell membrane provides? They are mobile, or it is fluidity in nature. Now suppose this is inside of the cell. Okay, suppose this is inside of the cell. Suppose this is inside of the cell. Now, if anything, like there are many hormones and neurotransmitter are secreted from inside the cell. Okay, so that process we name it as exocytosis. So what happens, like suppose some hormone is secreted by cell. Now this hormone has to come out of the cell so that it can bind to its receptor for its normal physiological action. So what happens, these hormones, they will be packed in vesicles. These hormones will be packed in small vesicles. In small vesicles they will be packed, and they will fuse with the cell membrane. And then what will happen? After when they fuse with the cell membrane, this can easily come out of the cell. Once the product, the hormone or the neurotransmitter, when it is outside the cell, again this phospholipid bilayer which has moved laterally it will come and it will seal it up. So this process is called endocytosis. Similarly, there are processes of endocytosis, phagocytosis. So sometimes what happens, so when the immunity during some cells which are actively phagocytic in nature, or when this cell take up some items or some products which comes inside the cell, so similarly it will come inside the cell and then it will again seal it up. So that we call it as endocytosis. So what we understand, that this lipid bilayer, they move laterally and they provide fluidity of the cell. So we can say that the cell membrane are fluid in nature. So what are the factors? So when we talk about fluidity of the cell membrane, for which our phospholipid bilayer is responsible, so there are some factors which will affect the fluidity of the cell membrane. What can be those? So there are one or two important factors which I will explain. One is temperature. So one is temperature. So as the temperature increases, the fluidity of the cell membrane is going to get increased. Now one more important thing, So when we talk about lipids, so the lipids and the phospholipid, one more important component which is present in the phospholipid bilayer are cholesterols. Cholesterol. So where these cholesterols are present, they are present towards the tail of the phospholipid. So they are present here. So the cholesterol are also present in the cell membrane. So if the concentration of this cholesterol increases, then fluidity of the membrane will be decreased because it will get packed, right? This cholesterol will pack the cell, and what will happen? There will be problem with the movement of the cell, as we said that the membrane moves laterally. So one factor is temperature and one is content of the cholesterol. Now we will talk about arrangement of proteins. Arrangement of proteins. So as we said that the proteins are present as a mosaic particles in the cell membrane or in between the phospholipid bilayer. Okay. So there are basically two types of protein. One is lipoprotein and one is glycoprotein. Lipoproteins and glycoproteins. Glycoproteins. And how these proteins are arranged in the cell membrane? So they are arranged as peripheral protein. They are arranged as peripheral protein. Peripheral means towards the periphery. Means one protein will be located towards the ICF and one set of proteins they will be located towards the ICF. It means peripheral proteins are again of two types: intrinsic peripheral protein and extrinsic peripheral protein. Intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic peripheral protein and extrinsic peripheral protein. And one more type is transmembrane protein. Transmembrane protein. These proteins, or we can say integral proteins. These proteins are present throughout the cell membrane. So I will show one diagram so that it will be easy for understanding how this intrinsic protein, extrinsic protein and integral or transmembrane protein are located in the cell membrane. So this is our lipid bilayer. With the fatty acid non-polar tails. So phospholipids arranged in bilayer. And over here we can see some proteins. So towards ECF, so extrinsic peripheral protein. Towards ICF, intrinsic peripheral protein. And as I said, few proteins, they will be present throughout the cell membrane. So they are integrated protein or transmembrane protein. So now we'll see what are the functions. So these proteins, so now we see what are the function of this protein. So the first important function is that this protein act as carrier proteins. So when we talk about transport mechanism, so very soon we will so in that chapter we will tell what is the meaning of carrier protein, but in short I will tell that some molecules, as we earlier said, those who are charged molecule or some larger size of molecule which are not easily able to cross the cell membrane, for those molecules they need carrier. So this protein, so some proteins will act as a carrier protein, which will help in the transport of molecule inside and outside the cell. Some proteins also act as channels, like for example aquaporins. So what is aquaporin? So aquaporins are those channels from which water can easily pass in and out of the cell. So aquaporin. So here protein also act as channel. Protein also act as a carrier protein. Now protein also act as pump, like sodium potassium ATPase pump. So they also act as pump. Protein also act as receptor. So these are the few functions of the proteins which are present in the cell membrane. Protein also act as antigen. Okay. Now we'll see about the carbohydrates. So 5% of the cell membrane is made up of carbohydrates.